that want to be able to see this. So I'm going to hit record right now and let's get started. So hi, my name is Marcia Kish. For those of you who don't know me, I am a professional development provider. For the last 12 years, I've been teaching teachers how to integrate technology into the classroom. And it's so great to finally be able to see all the hard work come full circle. So we're super excited that everybody's out there utilizing the technology. I do have a partner in crime with me, Jeff Kish. You want to say hi, Jeff?
Hey gang, thanks for hopping on. And Marcia, this is crazy. I think we have like 85% of the people that signed up for webinar, which if you've ever done a webinar, that typically is not the case. So people are really bored or they're really interested in getting some help teaching. So welcome everybody. My name is Jeff Kish. I've got 20 plus years in not education, but IT, doing computer programming up through the ranks for various size companies. And most recently hopped on board with Marcia and our company, and we go around improving classrooms across the world. With a little bit of niche, my niche is to help get coding, help you teachers get comfortable with coding so that you can introduce it to your kids at school.
That's awesome, Jeff. Thank you for introducing yourself. And I see one of my good friends, Allison. Hi, Allison. I hope you're doing well. There's so many of you out there. I miss all of you. We still have some more people in the waiting room. I'm going to join them in real quick. All right. Before we get started, I do have one very, very special guest. This is my nephew, Ashton. I have been working with Ashton for the last 4 weeks, working side by side as he's learning from home. So we're going to let Ashton kind of introduce himself, and we're going to get started. And I want to tell you real quick, the reason why I brought Ashton on board is because, like I said, for 4 weeks, we've been working together. So in the last 4 weeks, I have seen Google Classroom through the eyes of a student, which is very rare for teachers because usually we're the ones posting it out there. I have been working with them with over 30 plus teachers' views of what they're posting. So I'm going to have Ashton just do a quick little introduction, and we're going to walk through what it looks like from a student view. So go ahead, Ashton, say hi.
Hi guys. Today I am in Ohio visiting my grandparents because my dad is overseas and he's coming home. I have been working, as you know, with my Aunt Marcia, and she's been helping me with my homework for the past 4 weeks, which is great because she allows me to keep myself scheduled, and she allows me to just keep it straight and simple instead of being overwhelmed and stressed out.
Yeah, so Ashton and I work side by side. So every morning he wakes up with a call from his Aunt Marcia saying, come on guys, it's time to get to school, because they've been quarantined with my parents for the last 5 weeks. So his mom's in Oklahoma, his dad's in Afghanistan, and luckily my parents are so fortunate to have 4 grandchildren hanging with them during this time. But I do want to share out, and I have Ashton on the screen real quick, I want to share out what he looks at every day. And I think this is important to kind of kickstart our conversation today of how to do Google tips and tricks. So Ashton, this is what's up on the screen. What are some of the things that you see when you go into this screen when it looks like this?
Well, every morning I go in and I look at the main assignments that are due today that are posted on the front of the page.
Kind of like a little dashboard, right, buddy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah,
it just makes it easier, right?
Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier that I can just see what's going on.
Okay, so let's take a look at your math teacher. You love working in math, and you love math, don't you? But what makes math so easy?
Yeah. What makes math so easy is I can just go and view my assignment, and it's just all laid out there for me, and I don't have to look at anything. And it's just plain and simple, so where I can just comprehend it and then go do the assignment.
Awesome. And we are not here to pick on anybody, right? We're just going to give out a tip and tricks about what we like. But I do want to share out one other teacher who's working so hard and trying to get things up for you. But I wanted you to talk about what it feels like when you see an assignment that looks like this.
When an assignment looks like that, I get overwhelmed because it's not plain and simple, and I can't comprehend it easily without reading it like 4 or 5 times. So it's very hard to just comprehend. And then when I go to do it, I have to look at each step instead of just having it be one and all. And this is just like 4 or 5 assignments combined together in order to do just one.
And it makes it difficult, right?
Yes, very difficult.
Okay, so you guys, that is what we're going to talk about today, is looking at some really great positive things that we're seeing in Google Classroom, as well as how to quickly grade and get those things up and running. So I'm going to say goodbye to Ashton right now. Bye, Ashton. Thank you for joining us. It's so great to see you, little guy. All right, thanks, bud. All right, so again, I got the privilege of being able to experience this from a totally different viewpoint, from a different lens of seeing it through the eyes of students, parents, and grandparents. So today, I have put into the into the chat room, the link to the Google Slides. Feel free to follow along. We have over 100 participants that are joining us right now. So I was going to have us do Pear Deck, but I didn't want to stress us out. So I'm just going to share it through just a plain old Google slide. But if you go in and you use this, you will be able to use it as a Pear Deck presentation for any of your presentations that you might want to use it for. So here we go. We are going to go through, and I just want to talk about Jeff and I, and like Roy said, we provide great quality professional development, very hands-on, from everything from blended to personalized to tech tools. But you'll learn more about that as we go. Now, of course, we put in the chat room where you're from, but this was a very good interactive slide, and I'm going to teach you more about Pear Deck in just a few minutes. But this is going to show where we are all from. So it's really going to be fun, but at the same time, I didn't want to overwhelm us with getting everybody from Zoom to Pear Deck. So we're going to skip that for right now. But I do want you to put in the chat room, how are you posting your work to students? Are you doing it through email? Are you doing it through Google Classroom, US Mail? Are you doing it through Schoology or Canvas? Or are the students coming to your school and picking up packets? So definitely go ahead and tell us how you are truly getting the work out to students. All right. I can see here, I'm opening up the chat room so I can see what you guys have, because sometimes it's hard. Okay, we have a lot of Google Classroom. Canvas, all right, Nick, thanks. I'm glad you're using Google Canvas, one of my favorites as well. Google Sites, oh, that's great. Packets, I like packets.
There's a Flipgrid in there, Flipgrid's good.
Ah, Flipgrid, nice. Okay, so we have a wide variety. Everything that I'm going to be teaching you today is going to be able to use no matter what you are using. So just to give you heads up, even if you're using Schoology or Canvas, the things I'm going to share are just the simple tricks and tips that can help you go further. So let's go ahead. One of my favorite questions I love asking people, because when you type it into that chat box, everybody else is going to start looking for that. So what are some of your favorite ed tech tools? My favorite, one of my absolute favorites, is Seesaw. I love seesaw.me. It's a really great way to interact with the students. So even if I'm using Google Classroom, I'm using Seesaw as well. And Seesaw and Google Classroom are 2-in-1. So that way I can actually post something on Google Classroom, they complete it, they create a video, they have like a little mini portfolio that builds out. So Seesaw's my favorite. Jeff, do you have one? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, for sharing out, same thing. I know Flipgrid's really good. Seesaw, YouTube, those are all good tools to use.
All right, and I'm seeing a lot of people are saying HyperDocs and Google Meet, Flipgrid, Screencastify. You guys, as those comments are coming in, start making a list. Jot down some of these things, because we're going to be giving you a lot, but at the same time, you can go back and research some of these other tools that teachers are using. The number one thing, though, with ed tech tools is that we don't want to overwhelm our students. So if you have a tech tool that you really like, so for example, Flipgrid, stick with Flipgrid. Because the more we keep adding onto the plates of these students, the more they're like, what do I need to do? How do I need to do this? So just be careful with that. All right, so I do have a funny commercial for you. This is one that I used for the last 7 years, and it's more fitting now than ever. So to kind of kickstart us, we have a little toilet paper commercial.
Huh? Emma. Emma. Every day it's getting on my nerves.
Emma.
Oh, I'm Emma.
Sorry, guys. 2020 is going to be the year of the toilet paper, so we have to have fun with it, right? So that's actually a commercial I saw quite a while ago, and I love it, talking about being paper light versus being paperless. And it kind of is fitting, so I thought I'd share it out. So here we go. This is what we've all been waiting for. 5 ways to work smarter, not harder with Google Classroom. So what I've done is I've set it up into 5 different chunks. We're going to talk about how to assign, how to label, how to find, how to grade, and how to share out, like actually showcase what the students have missing assignments. So first off, we're going to talk about how to assign. What I've done is I've done a quick little screen capture. And again, you guys will have this Google Slides that you have. You will be able to go back in and watch this. After today, I'm going to go in and do a voiceover so you can actually hear what is going on. So what I'm showing now is how I would actually go in and assign homework. So the big thing is knowing the difference between classroom stream and classwork. And I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to go in and make an assignment, title it, and I'm also going to give directions. One thing that even you heard Ashton saying is that you need to be very clear. If it's a more than 1-step process, number it. 1, number 2, number 3. Keep it simple, keep it to the point. The next thing that you're going to do is that you are going to have them go in, and if there's anything that you need to attach it, you are going to have them attach it to it. So life in quarantine, they're just going to take a photo, and you need to make sure that you add a date, a due date. When the teachers don't add in due dates, it does not pop up on that dashboard that Ashton was looking at. That dashboard will be blank, and he doesn't know that anything's due unless he goes into every one of those classrooms. As of today, he has 12 different classrooms he has to check on a daily basis. So when you go in and you assign it, you want to make sure that you assign it with a date. So then it pops up, and then I'm going to take a look also at that dashboard, and you're going to see life in quarantine popped up in that test classroom. All right, so let's walk you through this step by step. So when I look at this and I'm going through it, I'm going to look at going in, again, creating an assignment. We have quizzes, questions, materials, everything will show up, but you want to make sure that you add in that date. So this is an assignment that you can use, a little extra tip about Earth Day. Earth Day is coming up in the next couple of weeks. I think it's next week. So I'm going to have them go take an Earth Day photo. So they're going to take a walk with their family, take a photo, put the photo in a Google slide, and then they're going to title it and put a hashtag to go along with it. Do you see how simple those directions are? The biggest thing, though, is that when we actually go in and we have teachers who are doing this and they do a really good job explaining, they put an example. The kids are trying to understand how to learn from home, but they're also trying to understand how to read your mind from miles apart. So what I do is I want to make sure I tell the teachers, go in and give them a clear example. So flying kites for Earth Day, have a photo, and then create a hashtag. That's the end product that we're looking for. The next thing is that you can add in a rubric. The more times you add in a rubric, the better. Ashton got points taken off because he was in a Zoom meeting and his teacher said, well, you didn't participate because you didn't talk. He's like, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to talk. So when you give clear rubric directions, those kids know exactly what you're expecting and they know exactly what they need to do in order to get all the points. So really, just from a teacher point of view, be as clear as possible and it will help out the students. And then last thing is you want to just make sure that it's on that dashboard. Make it fun, make it exciting. And we're going to talk about that in just a second of how to actually spice up your task for the students. And that is under what we call label. How do you label it? So I'm going to play another quick little video. And what it is we're going to show you again how to do an assignment. So I'm going to go in and do an assignment. This time the assignment is going to be reading a Newsella article. So I'm going to go to Emojipedia. And in Emojipedia are all the emojis that we love to use. But now it's just a free website. So I'm going to go in. I found a newspaper. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to go back and put it into Google Classroom. So now my label has a newspaper. And I want them to read about quarantine. So I'm going to type in quarantine. And they are going to find a cool little emoji with a face mask. Again, I click on it, copy it, and I go back to Google Classroom, and then I add that right into the title. And then I type out my title just like I normally would. Read a news article about quarantine life and what that looks like. Again, step-by-step directions. If I need them to create anything, I would, but then I also am going to assign a date. This time when I assigned it, I did not assign it for until next week. When the students go back into their dashboard, that assignment will not pop up onto their dashboard until next week. So it really makes it easy for the kids to see exactly what they need to do and when. So again, let me just walk you through what that looks like. So creating an emojis, just have fun, but they represent what you want them to do. Remember my Earth Day walk? I had the earth, I had a photo, and I had them walking. So it's just a quick little visual for the kids. But then, guess what? We're gonna go so emoji crazy that we're gonna forget what they are. So let's set up a code system. So what I would do is I would print this out beside me. So if I'm doing a math activity, I'd have these little math emojis to represent. So it'd be math or writing or reading. So the kids know exactly what to look for. Another one is set it up by action. Do you want them to take a photo? Do you want them to do a video? Do you want them to Zoom? Do you want them to watch? So many times when I'm working with my nieces and nephews and I build out a checklist, I literally will take that emoji of a video, the TV, and they know that they have to go watch a YouTube video. And it catches their eye, like, oh yeah, I have to watch that video. So the more emojis we can add, the better, but we had to stay with the system and not just go emoji crazy. The next one is by theme. So if you're gonna be doing a lot of things about Earth Day, set it up so you have Earth Day or Shakespeare. I put a coconut for fractions because that's the only thing I could find that was half. No other reason. And then I thought it would be fun to do a unit about like how scarcity and how like we have all evolved to become citizens of collecting and keeping toilet paper. So that's just one of my big things is just making sure when you label it, have fun with it, but also create a system. All right, I'm gonna have us do a break in just a couple of minutes. I'm gonna get through the next couple items and then we're gonna actually do a mini breakout where you can share some of your tips and tricks. Don't worry, I'm also recording this. At the end of this presentation, I'm gonna send you an email with the slides. I'm gonna send it with this recording and I have a couple free giveaways that you guys will get too. So hang tight, okay? Here we go. The next one is we're going to do a find. Teachers are so overwhelmed. We have 120 students that are in one of our classes. We assign 3 things a week. 120 times 3, that's a lot of grading. So what I'm going to show you now is how to quickly grade, give feedback, and return it to your students. By doing that, I am going to go in, and here's one of my workshops. So I am going to be using the comment bank. The comment bank allows me to put in general comments. I'm going to be able to put a comment in. I'll be able to add it to the bank. When I go through the student's work, I can then quickly add those comments in that I've already saved. So here's Tashia. She's one of my teachers out in California. I'm going to copy the item from the bank, paste it in, and I'm going to hit comment. The next thing I'm going to do is hit return. For the last 4 weeks, I have been doing and making sure my nieces and nephews have all their work turned in, and we have not gotten one return item yet from a teacher. So I'm begging you, please give feedback to the students. And this is a really quick, easy way. It's just going into the bank, pasting in your comments, hit comment, and then hit return. So let's walk you through that. Go into grades in Google Classroom or in Schoology, or this is a feature also in Canvas. So you can go into grades, you're going to go in and you're going to batch edit, put in some comments. So I'm going to open up one of my things that I need to grade. Then the next thing, I'm going to click on the bank icon. Build out some sample ones, but while you're doing it, if you notice this is a common thread of something that the kids are missing, just add it to the bank and you'll be able to use it later. Then you select what you need them to do. And then the next thing is that you just go and copy it and paste it right into the comment box. So this becomes a really easy way for you to grade without spending so much time doing that. All right, the next one is grading. In the grading feature is one of the things that I need to talk about. Again, it's the same thing, but I'm going to do a little bit different by talking about points and what to look for. So right now I have 7 things that were turned in to me. I have graded 1 of the 7. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in and give them a point value, 100 out of 100 points. Then I can change the points. If I don't think it's worth 100, I can change it. Then I'm going to do the same thing by giving a comments and the comment bank. All right, I'm just going to copy, paste the comment, post it right below the grade. Now, when that gets posted out, I am going to return the item to the student. I can batch return or I can do them individually. I'm going to toggle with the arrow to the next student who turns something in. Maddie, this is one of my friends, Maddie. She turned in a sort of the 3 phases of blended learning. I'm going to give her a comment, and then I'm going to add on top of that comment. And then I'm going to be able to send it back to her. When I'm doing this, it's kind of like a little game I have. The game of trying to get to 0. That's right. I'm trying to make sure that I get all my stuff graded before I turn in for the night. So I play this game, so now I'm down to 5. I've graded 3 and returned. Hey, it's a win. All right, so that's a couple of things that you want to look for when you're grading. It's just really trying to get those things back to the students because they need to know how they're doing. Yes, I know you're putting it in your school grade book, but if you're having the kids go in and do it in Google Classroom, make sure you return it to them so they can see how much they've accomplished as well. It's almost like returning papers in the classroom. Also, just another quick little screenshot, just to look for what to do with the grading, adding in those comments, select features. Again, the more you can put in, the easier it is. Give them feedback. Use that comment bank to really help push them along. And then one thing, look at that sun. Do you see that sun that I highlighted? Those little arrows are going to save you so much time because you open up one assignment and you can go back and forth between all of them without closing out a tab, opening it back up, closing it and opening. So that little arrows are going to really, really help cut down on the amount of time that you're spending looking at Google Classroom. All right. Here we go. The next thing we're going to do, the last thing, is email out reports to the kids. I know we're teachers. We love giving them grades, but this is a totally different environment for these kids to work in. And the instant that you send them an F because they didn't turn in an assignment, literally I see their faces just go, what? So here's what you're going to do. Instead of before you send them a grade, go ahead and give them that opportunity to return their missing work. Here's how we do it. You're going to go into Google Classroom, click on People. Click on the person that you choose. So I'm picking on Maddie right now. Here's everything she turned in. That's great. Here's the things that I have returned to her. She's turned in 5, I returned 1. And here's the things that she's missing. So as easy as it is I'm going to just go in and send her an email. Just click on the email button. And I'm going to say, hey, Maddie, thanks for working so hard. I'm so proud of you. You have a couple missing assignments. And I include the summary. Boom, send it. And now she's going to get that email from me saying, oh, okay, I don't have an F. I'm just missing these assignments and I'll get them done. So those are just some of the things that you want to do is just really go in, look at each individual student in your class, go then and see what they've turned in. You can email this report too. You can go to see how many things you've returned to them and then how many things are missing. And that icon that I'm talking about is just that mail icon, that envelope. And you could just click that envelope and it is going to send out an email to the students. And they're going to really be able to see what's missing and what's not without being, oh, I'm not doing my work. You'd be like, hey, it's okay. We're all learning this together. We'll get that work done. So those were my 5 tips and tricks. I know that's fast, but don't worry. Like I said, I recorded this. You can go back in and watch it later, as well as I will provide you a YouTube link with all of those videos with my voice over it so you can slow it down, stop, pause, go forward. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring everybody back together, and I am going to do what's called a breakout room. Have you guys done breakout rooms before? Yeah? Okay. So I'm going to send you into a breakout room. And in the breakout room, what I'd like you to do is just talk about some of the things that you're experiencing. Like, are there other tips and tricks that you would like to share? Or did you have questions? We're going to be in the breakout room for about 2 minutes, but I want to give this opportunity just for you to chat with other people from around the world. So here we go. I'm going to set up our breakout room, and we're going to do 20 different rooms, about 4 to 5 people in each room. So introduce yourself, have fun, talk about it, and then also talk about some of the things that you are doing. So here we go. Oh, if you want to be able to talk, you can either use your space bar, hold it down like a walkie-talkie, or you can unmute yourself. So feel free to be able to unmute yourself or mute yourself if you want to say something. You guys are hanging out with me in this little breakout room, so don't worry. So go ahead. Do you guys have any questions so far?
I teach, this is Lacey, I teach a multiple disabilities classroom, and sorry it's loud in my house.
It's okay. We all have those experiences.
And I'm just trying to figure it out to work with my kiddos and my parents, and so that's been a little tricky for me.
It is. And how many kids do you have total?
I have 6 total.
6 total. Are you trying to send stuff home versus like U.S. mail?
I'm doing both.
Okay, because I think that especially your multi-age classrooms, and that would probably be my #1 thing that I would tell you to do right now, because if we try to pressure them into doing too much online, it'd be kind of crazy. Another thing you might want to do is just send good quality web links that are easy for anybody to use. So for example, I know that you're probably using like just, oh gosh, what is that? Let me think. I know Reading A to Z. Are you using that one?
Yes.
Starfall.
I'm not using that, but I can put that on my list.
Okay, another good one is Happy Numbers. That's a really good math one.
Okay.
I'm trying to give you a wide variety here that is going to make it easier for the students. Anything that's going to be able to read to them and they're going to be able to do hands-on is going to help them out, Lacey.
Okay.
Send me a quick little email back, and I will work through and even send you kind of like some of my top for my special needs classrooms. So if you need that, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And the rest of you, hang tight. I'm going to bring everybody else back, but if you have questions, this is your time to ask me. So I'm returning everybody back from the breakout room. So but does anybody else have questions for me? And we're all returning back, so we'll see here.
I was with Norm and Dion in room 12. We had Twinsburg, as you probably recognize Norm, and he had snow yesterday.
Hi, Norm. So good to see you, buddy.
Dion was in 80-degree weather down in Texas, beautiful San Antonio.
I love it. Oh my gosh, we got snow, we got wonderful Texas weather. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I miss human beings besides my husband. It's just my husband and I quarantined, and thank goodness we really like each other, but I miss all of my friends. So it's good to see you, Norm. I'm so glad you're here. We had a lot of people from Northeast Ohio joining us today. So we're super excited. I'm bringing everybody back over. They're joining us back in. I think by far, Jeff, this is the biggest Zoom meeting we've had. I think we maxed it out. So I have you guys all on. I'm going to do, before we go into our next part about assessments and choice boards, I'm going to do a great big photo. So if you can, turn on your photo real quick, and I'm going to do a quick little screenshot. And I'm going to post it to the wonderful world. And hold on, here we go. Everybody, smile. We got you. 1, 2. Wait, hold on. 1, 2. Capture. Here we go. Yay. Yay. All right, guys. I'm going to keep going. Of course, if you have questions for me, if you have things that you would like to talk about, please put it in the chat room. I might not be able to get to everything today, but I will definitely, if it's in the chat room, I will definitely go back in and read and look to see what we have. So I'm going to keep us going because I have so much to share. I think I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning just because I was so excited about this webinar. So here we go. I'm going to go into next talking about how to do assessments. This was a big topic in conversation that we had a lot of people talking about, is how to do quality assessments. And you guys, this is a big deal because what are kids doing? they're Google searching. And they're going in and they're Google searching it out. So I'm going to give you some of my tips and tricks as far as doing that. And the number one tool that I use to make sure I'm getting the students, not the parents, to answer questions is I'm starting out with a Zoom meeting. I'm putting together a Google slide, and I'm using this free tool called Pear Deck. Some of you might know Pear Deck, some of you might not, but Pear Deck is by far one of the easiest ways to gather quick information from the students. I set today's presentation up in a Pear Deck, but I did not roll it out because I know that it gets kind of crazy when we have 100 people and I'm not able to get everybody over to Pear Deck and Zoom. So long story short, Pear Deck is a very simple add-on. They have so many great templates that you can quickly use in the middle of your presentation. So I'm going to show you just a couple of them. So it's our template library. And so here is my slide presentation that I just got done sharing with you. And the easiest way to do this is I just go in. If I want to ask a question, true or false, in the middle of my presentation, I click true or false, and boom, it pops over to my Google slide. I didn't have to do anything. The kids, when they go in, they're going to be able to drag. They're going to be able to pick true or false. There's questions they'll ask like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? These are really great add-ons, and it even gives you time for a stretch break. I love that idea. Give those kids a time while you're talking just to stand up, stretch, let that craziness out, and then move on. But these pre-made slides are all right here. And I'm going to show you again. I went into Google add-ons, I went to Pear Deck, and I had that Google add-on added. Now over here are my templates that are all set up. If I have a slide that I have made and I want to make it into where they can draw, I literally just click the word draw, and now that slide becomes an interactive slide that the students can draw, write, and create on top of. Yesterday, I met with a Spanish teacher from Kirtland High School up in Kirtland, Ohio, and she was talking about how she really likes using Pear Deck because she was able to ask them colors. She was able to ask them different parts of the house in Spanish, and the kids had to respond in the moment. And it took away that time for them to go in and be able to Google search the words and use Google Translate. So in here on your Pear Deck, you have so many great different options that you can either add to your slides you made, or what she did was she just went into the template library and then she went down to world languages. And in here are all different types of world language items. So I can add in a slide right away, and they're going to be able to draw, they're going to be able to write, they're going to be able to interact with you in the moment. Meaning they're going to have to match the terms and the words in the middle of your presentation. If I actually knew what they were saying, I think this is peach. So I would be able to drag and drop it, and it would be part of my answer, and the kids would know that, oh yeah, that was the answer I was trying to say. The point being is that these are very, very easy for kids to use and for teachers. I did not make these. These are all pre-made. It is free for 90 days, which would get us to the end of the school year. There's language arts, math, social studies, you name it. There are so many great tools and resources in here. Pear Deck will then tell you what kids are missing the information, and it will also then go in and create the information into a spreadsheet, and you can use it as a grade. One thing that I did with Allison yesterday from Kirtland was I showed her, if a student wasn't in the Zoom meeting, I showed her actually how to take the link, turn it into student driven, and she was able to put that into Google Classroom. So the 5 kids that didn't come to her Zoom meeting had to do that as homework because they didn't attend that Zoom meeting, but she still wanted them to answer the questions. So if you need help with that, either A, Google search it, or you can B, use me and Jeff. We are more than willing to show you how to do that. And all Allison did was send me a quick little email saying, Marcia, can you jump on a Zoom call with me? And I jumped on the Zoom call. We showed her. It was a total of 10 minutes. And she's like, I got this. And she's like, this was the best lesson she did with her students, but figuring out what they know and don't know by using Pear Deck. So definitely take a look at that. The next thing I want to talk about for assessments, and this is a big one, and I'm actually going to call out one of my other nephews. He's not on here, but his mom is, and His mom is Janine Saboro from Chicago. And when we talked to our nephew, Michael, he's like, oh, Aunt Marsha, I love it when I can just do a worksheet. I don't like it when I have to do projects. And I said, well, Michael, why? Because he's like, it's easy. I could just go find the answers and it's quick and easy to do. Great, but that's not really a good quality assessment. So I know if he was on this call right now, he'd be like, no, do not share this out. But what I'm going to share out is a choice board activity. And what it is I start out small. So next week, I would assign this to the students. Pick one square to complete. You can act it out, draw it out, or sing it out. So if I'm talking about Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet, they'd have to act out, draw it, or sing it. And then I actually have down here directions for them to do. So this would be part of their Google Classroom or Schoology or Canvas. Then the following week, I left it blank. I didn't know if I wanted to go up to 2 squares or just still have 1 square they had to complete. But then I added in, create a cutie catcher, do a virtual vocabulary taboo, or create a picture book. I know my nieces and nephews are cringing right now because they're like, no, that means more work. But from an educator point of view, I would rather them read Romeo and Juliet and then come back and tell me what they've learned versus being able to answer quick multiple choice questions. So what you will get by attending today's webinar is you'll get these choice boards. There's going to be one with 3 choices, 6, and then there's also going to be one with 9 different choices that you're going to be doing. But that's not all. I feel like I'm Oprah right now. That's not all. You also get all the directions and a rubric that goes along with it. So each one of them will have activity 2, draw it out, the directions, and a quick, simple rubric. You guys, it's simple, easy rubric. I didn't want to overwhelm the students or the teachers. So those choice boards are all going to be sent to you. So make sure that if you don't have my email, you get an email from me, that you email me and I'll make sure you get it. But those are going to be some really great things that you can use to enhance your assessment. This is a big deal, so make sure you take a look at that. All right, I'm going to stop right now real quick, and I'm going to just open up for quick questions. Anybody have any questions for me? I'm going to open up our chat. I see a couple people over here. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you guys for saying. I'm glad you like it because I spent so much time making it. I love it. I would definitely make sure you guys get those. But anybody have any questions about assessments, either through Pear Deck or through doing some choice boards? And remember to unmute yourself. Just push down the space bar and then you can talk like a walkie-talkie. All right. I don't hear anything yet, but if you have something, you can definitely chime in. I know my friend Allison is on here, and Allison said that that's what they're doing in Zanesville, is that they're actually giving out choice boards and letting the kids pick and choose the different assessments or activities for the week. Choices are good, but remember, look how I started, 3 choices to begin with. Do not overwhelm those students by giving them 9, 12, 15 choices. Keep it short and small at the beginning and then add on to them. Yes, Allison is a rock star in science. We all know that. I think if anybody's ever seen one of my presentations, you will see a video of Allison teaching. So just to let you know. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about how to connect with your students. I just recently wrote a blog post talking about how to connect with kids. And it is so very important that you take time to connect with them. In the classroom, think about it. When you come in, it's your bright, smiling faces. You're excited to see them. You're talking to them as human beings, not just throwing information at them. So take time, take a deep breath, and just ask them how they're doing. Do a fun activity. One of the best activities I saw over the last couple of weeks was my niece had a Google form that she had to complete, and the teacher literally wrote questions about each one of their classmates. Her question that she was, like the students had to ask is, what was Jolie's favorite type of penguin? And they had the emperor, the king, the different types of penguins. And she wrote all of them. And so then he gave it back and he gave them a quick little score about how they knew each other. But it was fun. It was lighthearted. And it just gave this smile to my niece that was unbelievable. So take time to just talk to them. Have fun with what you're doing. This is new for you and new for the kids. Another thing that I've created that I'm going to make sure that you get today is I created Life in Quarantine. And this is just kind of like a get to know you kind of thing. It's already done. It's all made up for you. It is a Google slide turned into kind of like a newspaper. So Life in Quarantine is just this. It says extra, extra, read all about whoever it is. How are they spending their time? And we know that TikTok is such a big thing. So I wrote, like, here's my latest TikTok. Go in and watch my TikTok. But if your kids are into gaming or sports or just playing card games, you could change it from the next game star or the next baseball star, solo baseball star. So you can go ahead and do that. Then it's like, how are they staying healthy? What are some of their favorite activities? What are they thankful for? Who did they help? I think we got to make sure that we all realize that we're in this together and we're not just living at home by ourselves, but there's other people who are living at home. So one of the things that Jeff and I did, which was so much fun, we did drive-in movie night. We have this big giant projector and we put it in our backyard, and our neighbors who cannot be around people due to medical issues sat on their porch and they watched a movie with us. And our other neighbor literally drove his car down to the backyard and they hung out. Safe distance, but it was fun. So we got to think about ways that we can help create community even when we're social distancing. So let your kids come up with some of those ideas. So Life in Quarantine is just a Google slide that each one of the kids get, and they get to go in and fill it out of what they want to do. So I have up to 30 slides. You just give them a magic number of number 17. They all work on their own, and then they can see it right there on the spot. Not one more assignment. It's just a fun way to talk to the kids. And I think that's what we really, really need to do, is really think about that. And I'm going to give another shout out to one of my schools in Texas. Rennell Elementary, the principal, has a great Twitter feed, and she gives so many great tips and tricks for how to use Google Slides. I will definitely make sure I include her Twitter handle in your email that I send back out to you. But one of the things that her school did right away was they literally used US mail and mailed the students a card saying, hey, we miss you. We can't wait for you to come back. And it just made that connection. And the kids had the ability to open up a card from their principal and a card from their teacher. What I would suggest also is putting another envelope inside of it with a stamp and letting the kids write you a letter and mail it back to you. Who knew that we'd be using US mail to help connect us? But it just is that sense of something new that you get. Like, I look forward to getting the mail now. Like, yes, the mail lady came, something new, something different. So you know your kids are going to want to do that as well. So I have a blog post that has 5 different ways. I'm going to pull it up right now so you can see it. It's under, hold on, I'm going to pull it up and I'll put the link there for you. It's under DSD Professional Development, and the blog post is talking about just ways that you can connect with your students. So I'm going to share it out right now so you guys can see it. And there's some really great ways that you can just say, hey, I'm really glad that you're here today. I'm glad we're still kicking it. We're doing great, but here's just a 5 ways to connect with your students during quarantine. And I talked about it. In the Zoom feature, I have a 3-part series talking about how the different features in Zoom and what that looks like. So you can watch that. Of course, we talked about Flipgrid, our Google Slides. There's that teaching in quarantine. And then here's Yo Teach app. Yo Teach is just a good way to have the kids go in and use a back channel. And then I'm going to round it out with, of course, what I just talked about, sending a postcard. Get those kids out there. Let them know that you care. Let them know that you're with them, even though you're so far apart. I am almost done. I could keep going. Anybody who knows me knows I could talk forever. But I'm going to stop right now, open it up for questions, and I want you guys to share, because this is what the community is about. It's not just all about me sharing. You guys have a lot to share too. So feel free to ask questions either by raising your hand or just unmuting yourself or put it in the question.
So yeah, I'll just add something. I mean, you know, we are, like Marcia said, we're all in this together, and you know, there's no right or wrong. at least just yet. The great thing about it is that you guys are here, so you want to improve. You know that there is improvement for all of us. So, like I said, there's no right or wrong right now. So don't get discouraged. You want to keep doing better. But like you guys, we have learned a ton in this past month. We've talked to teachers, we've talked to parents, we've talked to students, kids, our nieces, nephews, we've talked to superintendents. We do feel like we're the experts. Kind of surprised to whine and act and don't come ask us, like, when should we open schools back up? Just kidding. If you're from Ohio, just kidding. But it's great that you're here, and we're glad that you joined us.
And Jeff, I think
yeah, any questions?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Jeff. There is no right or wrong yet. Now, we're seeing that there's some different inequalities of what people are posting and doing, but that's coming with time. You guys, we did a skyrocket launch right into EdTech. And usually when we deploy this technology into the classroom, it's like a 3-year process. It's not flip the switch on Friday and now we're teaching online on Monday. So we have to give ourselves credit. We're doing it in what we can, and we are all learning. And I'm so proud of every single one of you. So yes, I agree. Everybody's giving shout outs to Meredith Akers. You guys, she is definitely one of those principals that definitely goes and pushes a lot of great things out there. You can learn so much, even if you're a high school teacher. So I'll make sure I include her. I wish she was on today. I would have her chat and share out.
She's actually in a staff meeting right now. I know one of her teachers.
Hi, Jill. It's good to see you, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm good. Miss you, Marcia.
I miss you too. I miss all my Texas friends. It's so crazy. I can't believe it. I miss going to Texas. There for a while, I was like, oh, I'm ready to be in Ohio. Now I'm like, I'm ready to go back to Texas. Anybody have any other questions or resources? I have a lot of great websites too if you want me to share. So just let me know if there's something you want me to talk about.
I mentioned in the chat that I've been using Canva. It's free online and it's awesome for resources. I've been using it for my newsletter, but you can make social media posts, you can make agendas, you can make anything, and it looks really professional. You can make them interactive and fun, and it's been wonderful for me.
I love Canva. I'm going to add that in there too, just to make sure people know what you're talking about. Canva.com, not Canvas. Canva.com is an online program that you nailed it. You said it the best, Rachel, is that it allows you to create and allows you to get information out there. It gives another outlet for students to do as well. So if you did a choice board, you could be like, create a, I think one time they did banned books on Canva. Create a promotion for banned books. So definitely, that's a good one. Thank you for sharing. Oh, Turnitin. Turnitin has been a big popular one that I've been seeing a lot of also. So Turnitin is a good one. Notability. Notability was one that we were seeing tons of our nieces and nephews using. If you're an iPad school, Notability is a really good app that the kids can write right on top of those PDFs that you have and share it out. So you might want to take a look at that as well. I have done, this is my 4th webinar. The last 3 have done different tech tools. So if you want some of those tech tools, look for the blendedlearningpd.com website. There's a webinar, and inside of that will show you some really great websites to use. Also, one of our biggest downloads is tech tools for elementary, tech tools for high school, tech tools for middle school. And it just gives you about 10 different resources that you can easily put into it. So that is also on our website. And then I'm going to give out one big, huge shout out. My husband, Jeff Kish, created an app. We are officially in the App Store. We have Blended Learning Toolkit app. It's free, has a lot of great resources, especially for blended learning, but we also have a Teaching from Home icon. And Teaching from Home is going to give you all those resources. And we're in the process of making a lot of great videos, and we're updating it constantly. So Blended Learning Toolkit is in the App Store, so make sure you take a look at it. Any special online resources for pre-K students? Oh, with autism or learning disabilities. You know what, Mary? I get this newsletter every day from PBS. PBS sends out a newsletter, and in it has an app of the day, has preschool resources, and then it goes from preschool all the way up to high school. But I'm telling you, if you're looking for kids with special needs for online, that PBS link is really good. If you send me an email, I will send that back to you, and you can subscribe to get their updates. But I get an email from them every day, and I send it to my niece and to my sister-in-law, a preschooler, and she loves it. They're simple, easy activities. So, Mary, make sure you just send me an email, and I'll send that to you, okay? Anybody else have anything? All right. My husband, oh, there's the app. Yay! My husband turned on the heat out here. It is literally a sauna. I think I might melt. So I am going to take off and I'm going to leave. I'm hitting record, so I'm going to send this to you guys. If you need anything, if you need any great resources, please let us know. We're here to help you. We're in it together, guys. We got this. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Love from Ohio.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Be safe.